Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 33 of Tales of Tamriel. So yeah, there was hardly any news of substance this week because, well, as we all know, it's that odd time, which normally lasts about, 2 weeks, between launch of a new update and the announcement of the next. But regardless, we've still got some things to talk about, and as always, there is the Tales section. So let's go ahead and introduce the host. As always, I'm your math-loving host, Aggelos, and with me this afternoon, she who curls up in a ball sucking her thumb at the mere mention of math, Thais. How are you doing this afternoon, my dear?
I'm good. All that makes me think of is the one line on Family Guy where Peter goes, "There's no I in pi, except for the I." But enough about numbers.
Did that hurt your brain saying that?
It did, actually.
Really?
Yes. I think I might cry when the show's done.
All right. And also joining this afternoon, the man who's running our stream and he who can count past 4, which is awesome, Deltia of Deltia's Gaming. How are you today, good sir?
Wait, 4, that's 5 after that, right?
I only said 4 because they only have 4 classes, so that's where you stop.
Burn. Hey, how's it going? Glad to be back.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump right into the news. First up this week, Zenimax had an Ask Me Anything on Reddit with their editorial team. That was on Wednesday, September the 10th. September 10th. We are September, right. I had to check my months.
Are you serious?
I really did. I'm bad with dates. It's terrible. I really am. If you're interested, you can check it out on the Reddit page. You can search for the AMA. Now, this is kind of neat. It's including the entire lore team and the, I guess they say editorial team, those who work with the content. And, of course, my hero, Mr. Schick, was there. The awesome beard that he has, the little mustache. I love his beard. He's my hero. It is my goal to get Schick on this podcast. I don't even care what he does. He doesn't have to do much. He just has to say something, and that will be it. That will be the best.
You will be reduced to a bumbling moron if he makes his way on the show.
He's my hero. That's like my dream job. He is my man crush. I'm not ashamed to say it. Schick is my man crush. So, Schick, if you want to come on the show, I hope you listen. You should. We would love to have you. You're the best. Okay. Speaking of him being the best, he did kind of give us a little bit of a teaser, and this was pointed out to me in chat a few minutes before the launch of the show because I was rereading it, and friendly listener mentioned that, hey, did you see this particular little teaser? And I had not seen it, so I had to go back and reread it. Well, there was a question asked about the Senshi tigers. Those are a subspecies of Khajiit, or rather, it's when they are born under a specific moon cycle determines the look and shape of the Khajiit, as well as how much moon sugar they ingest at birth. And those born under a certain moon cycle actually have a lower form of intelligence, or so it's assumed. They actually are giant tigers, if you will, or giant cats. They take on more of a feline type appearance rather than more of a humanoid. And the Khajiit actually ride them in. If you've read any of the books from, the 2 Elder Scrolls books, they actually refer to the 2 different types of Khajiit. Actually, there's many different types, but they were actually, the humanoid Khajiit were riding the other Khajiit when actually talking about them, like, oh, what's this mount for? And the guy's like, that's not a mount. While he lets me mount, he's like my brother. Like, because she spoke to him like he was a brother. He was just born under a different moon cycle. Anyway, sorry for that lore background, but they said that they will be adding a type of Senshi tiger mount sometime soon, trademark. And the exact wording here, the Senshi tigers, the in-game answer is that the difference between the Rot, and the Senshi tigers are confusing and hard to understand for everyone but Khajiit. Furthermore, Khajiit seem to sense an intelligence in Senshi tigers that other races do not. But since Senshi tigers don't speak, their intelligence is hard to assess. We will be adding Senshi tiger mounts sometime soon. but they'll be just slightly larger than their wild counterparts, not the gigantic felines described in some of the lore. Like the books, they were huge. They were like school bus size or something like that. They were just like massive tigers. But you can actually see some of these Deltia. I'm sure you've seen some of these if you've been adventuring in the Aldmari Dominion Zone, right? I think in Gratwood, maybe?
Gratwood, yeah. They have them, I think, in Rift, too. I just was seeing them out here.
They have the saber-toothed tigers, yeah.
Oh, the Senshi specifically, yeah.
Yeah, the Senshi tigers were different. But it's kind of neat. They are separating out that the Senshi tigers are different. I don't know if they're classifying them as Khajiit, because I think the Senshi Rot are the Khajiit form. Regardless, we will probably be getting those mounts, so it'll be kind of neat. I would like to see those. Saber-toothed tigers from Skyrim, because yay. I would like a bear, too.
A bear would be interesting.
A bear would be neat. And Gwar, because I love Gwar.
See, I think this is a terrible idea.
And speaking of Gwar, I have a little Gwar on my desk right now. His name is Franklin. Yes.
No.
And I also I got one of the plushy Gwar, but she's really cute. He sits on my desk now. And I bought one for Thace as well, and its name is not Franklin.
No, mine's name is Franklin. Yours is named not Franklin.
No. Mine says it's Franklin. All right. So if you're interested in reading all the stuff from the AMA, you should go check it out. There are some pretty cool stuff. Other than the little spoiler or teaser about the Senshi Tiger mounts, I like how they talk about the 36 lessons of Vivek. If you've not seen them, they've only ever appeared in Morrowind. In Morrowind, you could find the books in there, and the one writer pretty much broke it down, saying the only reason why we don't have them in ESO is because they're too darn long. Like, literally, they are freaking huge. One of my favorite podcasts that I like listening to is, if you haven't listened to the Elder Lore podcast, it's a guy who does all the lore of the Elder Scrolls. He did 3 separate episodes on the 36 Lessons of Vivek book. And it was over 3 podcasts. I think each podcast was half-hour long. It was like an hour and a half of reading these books. They were huge. They are just massive. They're like the biggest book in ESO, or in Elder Scrolls, period. So hopefully they work out the code and get those in there. But definitely check it out. It was really cool. Thace, you have anything you want to say about this particularly?
It's a terrible idea.
What's a terrible idea?
Out of all the possibilities they could have given us for new and interesting mounts that aren't horses, everybody since this game was announced has been screaming for Gwar mounts, and what do they give us? Stupid Khajiit like tigers?
Tigers are awesome. I don't know.
Tigers
That's
are
a horrible idea.
It's awesome.
All right.
No.
Before I rebut that, Deltia, what about you? Do you have something?
Yeah. Hashtag amazing. Come on.
Hashtag amazing. Hashtag rides tigers all day.
Hashtag every day I'm grinding. No, come on. This is cool. Like
Hashtag shoots Deltia's tigers.
Oh.
This is the meathead PvP, or like I'm better than you tigers syndrome. So for me, if you have to do something to get it, I'm gonna get the damn tiger. Believe me.
Oh yeah, me too. I love it. But here's the thing: he didn't give a direct time. He said we'll be adding it soon, which is like
5
Blizzard's
years.
Soon, TM soon. But they already, and this was coming from Lauren Schick, and while I love Lauren Schick, and you all know I got the man crush on Lauren Schick, I just drew a blank on his name.
The
Oh my
Schickster?
goodness. Paul Sage confirmed the Gwar mounts, and he's a little higher up on the totem pole in terms of getting things out to us, because he's like main director of all gameplay kind of stuff.
Yeah, but the Gwar mount wasn't hinted at as heavily as this was.
Oh no, yeah, it was. When they asked him during one, I forget, was it the QuakeCon, where they were talking about different mounts, and they said, yeah, we're adding Gwar eventually.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope Gwar comes out first, because if this comes out first, I'm going to be so excited.
Why don't they just come out at the same time? I'm fine
Well,
with that.
that would be okay.
Okay,
but still,
hold on. If they don't, as long as they don't make it cost money and there's like pink fluffy bunnies, I'm fine with it.
I totally want to pink fluffy bunny
I
mounts.
want my lore mounts, so I'm fine with this. Like I said, I'd like to see bears and saber tooths as well.
That'd be cool.
Maybe tiny silt striders. I don't know. It'd be kind of neat.
That'd be neat too. A tiny silt strider?
But so far we have 2 confirmed, and tigers, which will just look like tigers, and they have been used as mounts before in the lore, which does fit.
Oh.
And Gwar are used as mounts in the lore, which fits. Sabertooths and bears, not so much, because they will rip your face off. Yeah, wow. So, yeah, I guess there we go. Exciting. I like it. And it's definitely worth the read, even if you're not huge into the lore. But it's just fascinating. They do ask a lot of lore questions, and it excited me. So, all right. Next up on the news, as soon as I can find it, my notes. There we go. We had another Loremasters archive. So, Thace, you know what this means. You get to read stuff.
Yes.
Loremasters archive, Glorious Upheaval. So this week they examined a new lore book about the Daedric Prince Boethia in today's trip to the archive. Boethia, the Prince of Plots, exhorts rebellion, murder, and destruction, so all around pretty good person. But the motives of this mysterious being are unclear like those of most Daedric princes. Today, we present a new lore book from the zealous worshipper, oh my goodness,
Thendaramor?
Thendaramor Deathblossom. In the next Loremasters archive, we'll be taking a look at the Thalmor and their role in the Second Era. So send your questions. All right, so for the first book, Glorious Upheaval, go ahead, Thace.
Listen, you who would renounce the Eight and their lies, you who spurn their mindless doctrines and know. Boethia waits to receive the worthy. He pays no heed to mewling praise and prayers, or cries for aid and mercy from his faithful. He delights in the blood or the overthrown, the betrayed and conquered and murdered, those too weak to survive and receive his gifts. Only rebellion and violence, only treachery and aggression, and the power you seize can prove you, a mere speck of dust, deserving of notice. Your prize waits between his dripping fangs, if you dare to claim it. The tested, who stand drenched in the viscera of the pitiful, glimpse secrets held only by the Prince of Plots, who proved the weakness of gods when Trinimac suffered his stomach. Every power can be dismantled. Demonstrate your will to the deceiver. Do what you must to sever the grip of all rulers and place the crown on your own brow. In this way, you carve the path to illumination. You recognize your potential. Turn away from an atrophied life of complacency. Take everything from the undeserving. Take what you can and know it always belonged to you. Corrupt what lies within your grasp and turn it to your own purpose. Then extend your arm further. Reject the eyeless Aedra, rotting in Aetherius, that prison realm where flaccid souls languish, useless and drained. Deny their commands and revel in combat. Speak heresies as black as the void, and laugh in the face of the dragon ghost Akatosh and his crumbling kin. Boethia watches these deeds. She relishes each victory, shivers with euphoria at each moment of resolution, and grants her favor to the strong. If you would be among her champions, if you would destroy everything in your own true path, you will join the endless struggle, and bring strife and discord where you tread. Only in this way will you prepare for the greater battle that waits beyond. Know you on the path of perpetual conflict. You who refuse to bend the knee. Boethia waits to receive the worthy.
Excellent. I was almost going to say halfway through the book, I was getting ready to say something about the book going, what I don't like is, and then they changed it. Boethia is one of the few Daedric princes. While they have no gender, they're called princes, but they have no gender. Almost all of them are assigned a gender of some kind. They refer Molag Bal is, of course, a he. Malrun's Dagon's a he. Boethia are like Azura and Meridia are both referred to as she. Like, that's how they refer to themselves. Like, they refer to themselves, even though they have no gender, they kind of take the gender of females or males. Boethia is one of the only ones who constantly refers to herself in a fluctuation. He doesn't always say it's a he. She doesn't always say she's a she. She goes back and forth. Prince of Destruction, Mistress of, death, stuff like that. I can't even say she, he constantly flips back and forth gender.
I did not notice that. You were right. Right there, he pays no heed to mewling praise, and then there, she relishes each victory.
Mm-hmm. This Daedric Prince jumps back and forth between its titles, and it mostly goes, it freely goes back and forth between male and female words.
How about that?
Only
them
one
words.
that I know of.
Them
words. Them words. It's kind of neat. This is the only one that doesn't pick a gender, while none of them do have genders. This one doesn't pick it and refers back and just freely, Prince of Destruction, Queen of, Denial, whatever the case may be. I don't know. It's kind of neat. All right, so there was a cute little Q&A here. Let's go over this. I'm having trouble understanding the teachings of Boethia. Yeah, me too. I have done some searches, but only coming up with basic definitions. What are rituals and practices of followers/cultists of Boethia? What is Boethia's main goal among us? That is from Marinsum.
Then Doramore Deathblossom says, Boethia tests our worthiness. Only the victorious are worthy, and victory is the only value. You wish to know of our rituals and practices? Come to one of our appearances and accept the challenge of the gauntlet. We will test you, Marinsum. Test you to the utmost. Seek out Dragonstar Arena. Do you think you can prevail, or do you lack the daring to even try?
I kind of think they're giving a little bit of hint about the story, because all of us here, so I don't think they, since she didn't download the PTS, but it's because it's massive.
It will take days.
I don't doubt. But we've all been in the PTS Dragonstar Arena, and it kind of made me wonder why we kept going through Daedric portals whenever you would pass through the different stages.
What the hell?
So it's kind of neat if she's part of this, Boethia. And there's also that giant statue of a woman holding a sword carved into a mountain, which is not unlike what Boethia currently does. There's often a statue of a female figure holding a sword. Sometimes it's one of their statues. All right, next question. Why are Boethia and Molag Bal arch enemies? I find these two the most interesting out of all the princes, and it's even more interesting that they're enemies. That is from KevKev21.
Then Daramore Deathblossom says, Molag Bal is Boethia's enemy because he is weak. His methods are crude, his schemes no deeper than triple dealing, and he fails to recognize that sometimes you must build in order to destroy. Boethia is more than merely cruel and ruthless. The Dark Warrior is also cunning at need, patient till culmination, and wise to the follies of mortals. Molag Bal seeks for strength only in himself, while the enlightened Boethia seeks also for strength in others. All praise Boethia, he who destroys and she who erases.
See, right there is that he and she just freely goes back and forth. I love it. All right, final question is, how do orcs view Boethia? Do they revere her for turning Trinimac and his followers, or do they loathe her? That is from Saxton's Laugh.
Then Daramore Deathblossom says, Trinimac was vain and arrogant, and he and his followers paid for their weakness by being transformed to show what they truly are. Brutish Betmer without guile or finesse. How do the orcs view Boethia? From a great distance if they are wise. But we already know the answer to that.
Oh, silly pig children. Orcs. All right, that was the Loremasters Archive Glorious Upheaval. We hope you enjoyed that. If you feel like reading it yourself, it's part of the community programs, and you can find that on the official Elder Scrolls Online page. I do like these. These are probably one of my favorite of the community programs, mostly because they don't show any good Battlemaster stuff. And the guild spotlight is, whatever.
Some Australian guild or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's nice they do it, but it's kind of one of those things where, unless I'm outright looking for a guild, it's worthless to me, which is nice. It gets the name out there. But this is specifically relating to the story of the game. That's why I like it so much. And Battlemaster's Archive does have potential. They just need to get away from the dumb builds.
Should I do my build?
I said get away from the dumb builds.
Oh.
Ouch.
All right.
Ouch.
All right.
I love you.
I'll remember that.
I love you.
That's why I made you how I did.
I know. Sims, nice. All right. And the final bit of news for this week. During the Zenimax live stream, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, they had a couple teasers in there. Now, this is a recap of the news from the ESO live stream that was on September 12th. First off, live stream. I guess they're going to do a live stream every 2 weeks, which is kind of exciting. Before we move on to the stuff, let's talk about that for a minute. I like the fact that they're doing a live stream every 2 weeks. Deltia, what about you? What do you think about Zenimax doing a live stream?
I like it. I would hope that the live stream would be like an ongoing channel where it wasn't just them talking for an hour once every 2 weeks, but like hosting people that are passionate about the game, like me, maybe doing a stream or something, like doing PvP and promoting the game that way. And like, so anyone interested in Elder Scrolls can come look at it. That would be a much better plan, in my opinion, than just talking randomly once every couple weeks.
Okay. Thace, what do you feel about the bi-weekly live stream? What are your just first thoughts on it?
I guess it's pretty cool. As long as they're giving us information that helps us look into the future of ESO.
Yeah, and what Thace said, this is, I like your idea, Delta. It'd be kind of neat if they do a little bit of, I don't know, letting other people stream on it to kind of promote the game and help, other people in the community. But more so, I love the fact that the developers, and I hope it's a rotating, like I think it's Gina and, oh crud, I'm so sorry for not remembering the other community manager's name. I'm sorry about that. I feel really bad. I hope they don't listen to this particular part of the episode because I feel really bad now. But I think it was only the two of them, the two community managers, doing a live stream of them playing the game and talking a little bit. But I'd really like to see a live stream of all the developers going out there and playing the game, and then we can question them. See, that's the one thing I really like about the live streams is because, like, this particular live stream, we got a couple little juicy little tidbits in here that we can talk about in a few minutes. But being able to question, I would love to question, like, Nick Conkle or Paul Sage about specific things in the game. And maybe get some different information, or even some of the other developers who work on different systems and try to get inside their heads and ask questions during the live stream that hopefully they'd answer. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. Something along that line where they, answer and give us little tidbits and little teasers. I would love if every 2 weeks they dropped a little teaser about something they're working on. That would be great. Just something for us to digest and Gina, yes, thank you so much. Gina and Jessica, thank you. I felt bad. I couldn't remember them.
No.
All right. I know. It was bad. Tried to pull it out and I drew a blank. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about what was teased during this live stream. First off, Update 5 will include chat bubbles, City of Ash Veteran Dungeon, and a new Face FX system.
The one thing there that I'm the most excited about is the new Face FX system.
Oh, I know. And with where we are currently in our questing, we will probably see Update 5 before we finish all of the questing zones. So we'll actually get to see some of the Face FX stuff without having to run through another character or something like that, which would be kind of neat. Deltia, you and I were talking a little bit about this. Chat bubbles is not a very popular thing in our opinion. I'm not looking forward to chat bubbles. I think they're dumb.
I can see how it will be beneficial in things like a dungeon where you don't have to look to the corner of your screen to see what people are saying. You can just keep looking in the center and it pops up. I can see how it being helpful there.
Okay.
But with how much spam happens in major cities, that's just going to be chat bubbles everywhere.
Yeah. Delty, what do you feel about chat bubbles?
Well, if you can turn them off, I don't care. It's mainly probably for the RPers and people like that. But I want nameplates. I mean, this is the only MMO I've played that it's like super hard to find out who someone is. Like in PvP, you really don't get recognized because you don't have a nameplate going, oh, Billy Bob's out here today. That's like it's a huge identity part of the game that's missing. Even in like Ralka, when everyone sells their wares, I want nameplates like, oh, Billy Bob's here selling iron again, I know him, or Jimmy's here selling oak again. You know, that's a big part of the, like, it forms a culture, and it forms a big relationship with your guild, knowing this guild's here with the guild tabard and stuff too. I just think it's a big part of the game that's missing, and I know people don't want nameplates in the game, but have it so you can turn them on and off, and then if you don't want it in the game, click. It's not there for you. But for me, PvPing, I want to know I'm going up against, oh man, Billy's here. He's going to kill us. Or I'm that guy. You know, that's like a sense of identity that other people see you, not just your gear, but something else. That's what I like about nameplates. So, chat bubbles, hey, if you like them, as long as I can turn them off, because I don't want them on my screen.
I have to completely disagree with Deltia.
It wouldn't be a show if you didn't.
I know, but I actually have reasons why. I remember, I think it was the first few times we went into Cyrodiil, I remember exactly who kept beating our faces into the ground. And I will never forget this person. Reese Witherspoon was the character who kept killing us. And every time I saw them, I knew we were going to die. So if you're missing people's names, it's because you're just not paying attention. Because it is not hard for me to see people's names. As long as you're trying to attack them, their name is right there, who they are. And I, to this day, Reese Witherspoon is the bane of my existence in Cyrodiil.
Nice. Okay, well, that's because she was what? Like a Dragon Knight, Dunmer, sort of, vampire of death. Yeah. Yeah, that's why that happened.
Well, the premise, though, is that, yes, you can target someone and see them easily. I get that. Well, when you're tanking or AoE damaging people, you're targeting a group. You're peeling. You're commanding the party to do something. Being a leader going, you need to get over here. So if I'm targeting, say, Reese Witherspoon and someone on my left, I don't know their name. If I can see their name, I go, Grouchy, I need you to CC Bob. Kaz, I need you to pull, this on this guy and stun him. That's why it's important to me.
Why not just lay those out beforehand?
Because you can't see. I see
it's
where
dynamic.
It's
dynamic.
See it. When you run into a group of 4 people, yeah, you can see the name of the person that your crosshair's over, and you see there's some Khajiit over there stabbing your buddies, but you don't know his name unless you move your crosshair, and you really can't move your crosshair because you're busy trying to take out the guy you're targeting.
So you can just say right flank attack so-and-so. Attack so-and-so.
But I don't. How would I know so-and-so's name when I'm focused on what
and
I'm
not
doing?
even so-and-so's name, and what if the person's not in the same area as you? If I said right flank and you're over there, you're looking to your right, there's nothing over there.
It just feels so much more realistic.
Not your right, my right.
Without the nameplates, without the chat bubbles.
Which is one of the things we're talking about. As long as you have the option of turning them off.
I know that's true. I just want to fight with Deltia.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
But it's nice.
Are you done fighting with Deltia?
Yeah.
You want to pull his hair? You want to push him down?
Well, I'm the typical.
You act like a cat fight.
I want more info.
Manly enough. I'll throw a punch. It's fine.
Hey, I'm not going to strike back a la frickin' sports athlete meatballs. We're not to get to that topic, but yeah. Anyways.
Okay. City of Ash Veteran Dungeon, yes. That's great, because I love more Veteran Dungeons, and to be honest...
City of Ash is freaky good.
City of Ash it was a gorgeous dungeon, so I'm excited to see it. Plus, we'll be going into Malrune's Dagon's realm, because it was him trying to destroy it. And the Veteran Dungeons have been some of the hardest 4-man content in the game, albeit by the time this comes out, Dragonstar Arena will be there, so they'll have to step up their game. So that's always exciting. And of course the new face effect system, which we've all seen at the QuakeCon event, and I'm excited to see it. Like, really am. Now, one of my favorite things that was released, heavy attacks with melee weapons will return stamina. No exact time given, but they said very soon. Bows will benefit from this change and gain back stamina from heavy attacks as well. So heavy attacks with any kind of stamina-based weapon will return stamina to you, which is pretty awesome because stamina users need a way of getting stamina back. I don't think it completely solves the issue of stamina being used for so many other things. I still I'm still an advocate of the secondary resource for defensive abilities, endurance, whatever you want to call it. I don't care, I still think they need a secondary bar, like a secondary stat for defensive things that eats up your block, that uses your CCs. And I would like a second, like the horses have a stamina bar. I would like to have a second bar for sprinting. So that way sprinting has its own secondary stamina bar.
Yeah, but then it won't be able to outrun you.
Well, yeah, that's because we'll be able to sprint. I don't even mind. Sprinting can be whatever, but it's still, its stamina is used for too much. This will help alleviate, but it still doesn't solve the fact of somebody using all their stamina to damage, and then they're doing heavy attacks to gain it back. If they need to dodge during that time, they don't have enough stamina, that it still kind of sucks for them. Whereas magic users still don't have that problem. Face, what do you think about this? And I do see someone in chat, Stelden, saying about Guild Wars 2 really put me in the idea of a dedicated bar for defense. Exactly, that's what I'm
Resolve.
looking at.
Yeah,
well.
Star Wars did the same thing. CC break, anything to deal with, because that's what prevents you from getting stun locked. It's that resolve bar, or whatever you want to call it in this game. And then that becomes a whole new dynamic in PvP, is how do you manage that? When do you break CC? Should you do it now? Should you wait till you have something around? I mean, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, they definitely need to separate out the stamina magicka. Needs to be used solely for the damaging abilities, and other things that need a secondary.
I don't really have a say in the matter here, because I will never play a stamina build.
Well, here's the thing. By you not playing a stamina build, you already took a stand. You're not using your stamina for anything. Like, when you sprint, you dodge, but you sprint going, why aren't you sprinting with me? I'm like, because if we get attacked, I need my stamina. So right off the bat, you already fall under the Elder Stays Online thing of, I'm using magicka for everything. You already sided with your camp. You're like, yeah, I don't have an opinion, because the way you play, you already fall into...
So wait a minute. So because I don't have an opinion, I am automatically against you?
No, because it's not like you're playing a stamina build or a hybrid build and going, I don't really care. You're playing a full magicka build going, I don't care what they do with stamina.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But the fact is, you're essentially the best in slot stat, if you will. Like, in the game currently, you're not double dipping for anything. You're only using stamina for your defensive skills.
I do have a Nightblade, though.
And if you build him to be stamina, you'll start feeling the pain. But you haven't played him enough to start feeling the pain. But the way you're currently playing, like, sprinting is essentially a defensive skill. You are using it the way 99% of the Elder Scrolls players are.
Only dumb players have stamina builds. I mean, come on.
Only dumb players have
Well, announcing next week, Ace is off the show.
Is Deltia a stamina user?
No, I think he does a little bit of both, but I think it doesn't matter. Like,
you totally missed what I was...
Is he a stamina user? I got you.
Okay. All right,
but it's not the fact that it's the disparity between the two. The fact that if I'm playing a stamina user, I'm automatically gimping myself.
I agree, though, that there needs to be some other kind of resource. Instead of endurance, I would say it should be called willpower.
Well, it doesn't matter what you call it.
But there needs to be one more. Or
they could call it Fluffy Pig Bunny Stat. I don't care. As long as it has to be dodge.
Wow. What they really need to do is they just need to add in like three bars. You can dodge 3 times before they have to fill up again. Or 4 of them, and make it 4 different times for dodging.
Well, that's what the whole
blocking.
Just 1 bar alone would be fine, as long as it has a set number. And dodging, parrying, blocking, stamina, all that uses all of sprinting uses all of that stuff. And that's your defensive stat will cover all your defensive stuff. CC breaks, stuff like that. You know, all of it's taken care of by 1 extra defensive stat that's used only for that.
Just do something different.
And I mean, I think here's a way they could also expand it out. With like new enchants and new traits as well, where they could added endurance, that extra stat. So if you're building a tank who needs more defensive, maybe you don't do just health, you do health and, some other stuff.
Captain Creamsicle in the chat is soft capped in Fluffy Pink Bunny stat.
I see. That's a good one.
Makes two of
Best in
us.
slot. So I'm going to write a petition for the defensive stat be called Fluffy Pink Bunny. That's what we're going to call it.
Nice.
All right, we're going to move on to the next set here. Light and heavy attacks scale off. Weapon power for Werewolf. Does anyone have anything they want to mention about that? I think that's kind of just making Werewolf better.
People play werewolves?
Yeah, people play werewolves.
Okay.
I'm going to be playing a werewolf soon. I hit cat for vampire.
That's true.
Enjoy that.
I think the way the scaling was done before, it didn't really help being a werewolf other than the ultimate game. No one actually turned into a werewolf.
No.
But this should actually help with the damage to make it a little bit more normalized. Next thing that I think is kind of neat, drop sets with random traits. So the way it was before, drop sets had a set trait. Like you picked up a, I don't know, Dragon Slayer's armor, and it had plus, to reinforce. It had a reinforce trait. Always did. Now when you drop it, you'll get different stats on gear. So when you get a piece, maybe it's not the best, but maybe you can sell it for, if someone's like, I really, really want divines on this. I don't want reinforced. You can now go out and farm and hope you get it and maybe get a divine set, and then it goes for a lot. I think this will also help with some of the loot in Dragonstar Arena. There was this really good gear dropping. So you're VR14 doing Dragonstar Arena, and the trait that drops off of it is Exploration. Why? Extra experience while exploring. You're already VR14. What do you care? That's the problem. Deltia, what do you think the randomization of traits on dropped armor and weapon sets will have on the economy? No? Deltia? Okay. I think you're muted, good sir. Oh, or he left. All right. I'm looking at the thing. What about you, Face? Tell me what you think.
I think it was a good change. A little change, but I think it'll help with bad moneymakers to make some more money. So that's always good.
Well, yeah, especially if you get can you imagine this? Here's a set that I know sells for a lot of money. The Warlock set. Ask anyone, any caster wants that Warlock set. But it had a specific trait, like Warlock set with reinforced gear. How many casters like, well, I don't want reinforced. I don't care about reinforced. It's dumb, But maybe an infused or a crit or a divine stat would be slightly different, and that would probably be a little better. Yeah. Yes, and Hero, I did realize that as I looked over, Deltia ran away from me.
Oh, sorry, I had to use the restroom. What did I miss?
That's all right. I actually asked you a question. I looked over at the thing and realized you weren't there, so I jumped over to Face. What do you feel dropped item sets with random traits will affect the economy? How will it affect the economy?
Well, there's going to be one specific, best in slot type thing you're probably going to want, so it'll just change that, I would imagine. But right now, it'd be nice to have some variety and be excited when you go, oh man, I got infused legs Warlock set, so that's what I could see happening.
I just mentioned to Theis was the one set that I know that's still really popular is the Warlock set from an item drop. It's just really powerful if you're a caster, but I know one or two specific pieces of it have like reinforced on it, which is like the worst trait ever for cloth gear. It's like, why would you want it? But being able to get like a divines or an infused or something along those lines, I think would definitely be really neat. Really, really neat. And Estellan said he would rather have crafters be able to change drop set traits. I actually agree with that. That'd be really neat. But with that, I mean, it has its own market value, but here, this is something that I think will have a greater market value, because when you get that Warlock set that has infused or has divines, you could pretty much name your price for it. If any crafter could just change it, the prices would drop fairly significantly. I do agree. I think crafters should be able to, rip out traits and put new ones in, but I don't know if they'll ever add that. Maybe later. Yeah. All right. Next up, they were hinting on Nightblade changes coming in patch 1.4.3. Build update 4 will launch Tuesday 9/16. That's what they're saying. So yay, we'll get update 4 this week. Strife always heals based on initial damage caused. And Shadow Cloak no longer will be broken out by morphs and its dot effects. Okay. All right. Well, Nightblade's getting a few changes. I don't know how many people actually even use Strife and Shadow Cloak. I mean, I use it at low levels, but from what I hear, Strife and Shadow Cloak are kind of whatever.
Strife?
Yeah.
Well, the morph's amazing. Funnel health.
Well, that's what I was using that earlier, but I think you can get other stuff later on.
Oh, it's one of the
That's
best.
better
It's one of the best trials abilities in the game.
Hmm?
It does the most damage.
How about Shadow Cloak?
Well, Shadow Cloak's a PvP ability, well, you can use it in PvP or PvE. I don't understand what they said about the changes. So Strife, it hits off the number. It basically there's no dot effect. It's off the top. I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Disguise or Shadow Cloak?
Shadow Cloak, it can no longer be broken out, and it says by its morphs and its dot effects. So I don't know if you were
if you get dotted, you can come out of it. Yeah. That's a
Right.
big buff to Nightblades. If you can stay in stealth while dotted, that's huge.
Right. Sweet. All right. Well, anyone have anything they want to say about what we just heard from the live stream as a wrap-up? No? Deltia?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, see, this is the kind of information that I really am expecting to see every other week from their live stream, just getting like little tidbits like this of, hey, guess what we're going to add in. I think that'll be exciting, and it would definitely make me want to watch it, you know?
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, that ends our game news, and let's go ahead and we're going to move right on into our next section, which is going to be our Tales of Tamriel section. As always, Deltia, since you're our guest, why don't you tell us a little bit, first off, why don't you tell us a little bit about the character you're playing, because you respect a specific build for this stream. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now before we get into your game for the week?
Okay, well, I'm trying to do the anti-Dragon Knight build. So my Dragon Knight, it's a lot of fun, but it really lacks range. I hate that. I have to be up in the fight, which is fun most of the time, but if I'm by myself, it's just I die a lot because there's no one to support me. So you're really relegated to sitting around blocking while everyone else has fun killing stuff. And I'm like, not so much. And I like the Sork, but honestly, I think the Nightblade's a better pure caster with the range that it has, and it's just so much fun. You can do so much damage with the Nightblade. So I wanted to kind of test out light armor, full light armor with a couple sets, and then kind of build it as the anti-stealth. So most people take the Mage's Guild Inner Light. I took the other morph, Radiant Light, so I can take less damage from stealth. I changed my Reaper's Mark morph, and I took people can't go back into stealth. So what I'm doing with this guy is making a purely anti-stealth class. A range caster, anti-stealth. So what I'll do is I'll mark them so they can't go into stealth. I'll strip them with elemental drain so they can't block, and then I'll nuke their faces off. Sound fun?
That does sound a lot of fun. And before you get going on anything else, Base, your face kind of cringed a little bit when he said that Nightblades were better casters.
Oh, way better.
Would you like to voice your opinions?
Way better.
You had to point that out. You really did.
I did,
you?
because I like
Well,
creating drama on the show is what people like. They like drama. So go ahead. They sit back and they love this.
I think that this is just horrible. Just a horrible idea. As a Nightblade, you are not supposed to be casting. You're supposed to be shanking people in the kidneys and, just slicing their faces off. It's just, if you're a Nightblade, why are you running around with stabs casting spells?
Because
it's just a terrible idea.
I have better range. I have single target pressure from 28 meters away. If they get close, I can vanish, go off on my own, do it again.
But you only have the abilities that are in the destruction staff as a Nightblade.
No, I don't. The highest DPS in the game, in trials, is a restoration staff wielding Nightblade.
Oh, but then, but you still don't really have any casting abilities.
Yes, I do. I have funnel health, crippling grasp, and that's all you need. Basically, that sap essence, and you just sit there and boom, dink 'em and dink 'em and dink 'em and slow them down and piddle them down.
But that's so boring. You're not even supposed to be a caster. You're a Nightblade. You're supposed to be a thief.
No, I'm not.
Daggers.
This is why Elder Scrolls Online is amazing. There is no I have to be this. I don't have to be anything.
But that's why it annoys me.
I love it.
As a sorcerer, I should be using a staff. I should not be using a great sword or a bow. I should be using a staff.
But at my Sork build, what was I using? A two-hander. And I loved it on my Sork. And that's why this game rocks. I don't have to be a cookie cutter sneaky.
Oh, it hurts my brain.
I like being able to, even though I like being able to build an archetype, but me being able to pick it from scratch. I don't like to make a class go, oh, I'm automatically an archetype.
I'm automatically stealth the whole game. 500 hours of being stealth. No thanks.
Captain Creamsicle said it perfectly. A role purist.
No, I like to be a caster-looking guy who, like, when you go over to get to me, I pull out like a great sword, wearing cloth, drop spells, being that hybrid little mix of melee and magic. I love it.
Yeah, but a jack of all trades is a master of none.
Doesn't matter. Jack of all trades can sometimes kick a master's bum because they have more things to, oh my goodness. It's kind of like
every game I've played, I try to take the cookie cutter thing and make it different. So if everyone was playing a tank, I tried to play the tank class and do damage with it. That's my thing.
But that's not your role. If you're a tank, you're supposed to be tanking, not doing damage.
But can I do both? That's what a good tank does.
You shouldn't.
Now I'll agree with the tank, healer, DP. I think if you're one of those, you should just focus on that. Now I don't believe classes should be, regulated to one specific thing. I don't think a Templar automatically marks me as a healer. I don't think a sorcerer automatically marks me as a DPS caster.
A filthy caster?
A filthy caster. Yeah. I don't think being a Dragon Knight necessarily means I'm supposed to wear heavy armor and a shield.
To me, it does.
I think I should be able to, if I want to be a sorcerer who picks up a shield and wears heavy armor, I can tank just as well as anything else, but I augment it with my,
That just makes me cringe.
I know.
And cry on the inside. Like, whenever you run around in your heavy armor or your medium armor with your resto staff, I just want to punch you.
Oh, well, see, that I'm just doing it while I'm leveling, because that's not at all for, that doesn't help, but I'm just leveling it.
So what Deltia is doing right now
is amazing.
He's also on a Khajiit. That's just, ew, ugh, gross.
All right. Racist undertones aside.
It's just, it feels so wrong.
But it's so right. Daggers. I can do so much damage. It's great.
I like breaking the norms, too. I don't like being cookie-cuttered, stuck into one thing. I want to do what I want to do with the class.
And when you see
and that's what I like about open games.
Yeah, you see some Khajiit rolling out in Cyrodiil, wielding a staff, you're like, what's this idiot doing? Boom! You're dead. Oh,
exactly.
Okay,
what's this idiot doing?
I guess he's doing
and
something
you're
right.
the one face down in the
it's not hard to kill me, though. That's just...
not you, per se. I'm saying just like other people.
Anyway. Yeah. And the nice thing about not being able to break the limitations is me seeing a Dragon Knight doesn't necessarily mean, okay, I have to deploy anti-tank maneuvers, because I don't know what he's doing. Or someone sees me as a Templar going, he's a Templar, he's automatically a healer, let's, like CC down a healer, there's certain ways to handle different roles. You don't know that until you start fighting me and see what kind of abilities I have loaded.
Yep, Elder Scrolls, baby, it's awesome.
It's great. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did this week?
Okay, I made some notes because I did a lot. Now, I made that Templar build, so I finally finished my Templar, the Harvester, and I can solo Anomaly on my VR5. My Templar can. I'll just let that sink in. I can solo Anomaly, a VR11 Anomaly in Craglorn on my Templar. That's how powerful it is. So anyone that hates on Templars, suck it, because they're awesome. Now,
Templars do rock.
Are they awesome for PvE endgame? No, they're not. I firmly believe they're not going to be the high-end DPS in Trials. But you got to realize, this game, there's so many decisions that you make that I go, oh, this would work in Trials. Oh, this would work in PvP. Oh, this would work soloing. So how you build your character, you really have to have, some forethought in going, what am I going to do endgame? Or what am I going to spend my time doing? Is it Trials? Then you're going to do the cookie cutter stuff. Is it PvP? Well, you can do whatever you want. Is it soloing? From doing all these builds and whatnot, I've really learned that what you're doing is going to dictate how you build your character, because it could be so different based on what you're trying to do. Anyways, so my whole goal was building something that I could just solo anything, and I think I accomplished that pretty good. Okay, so we did that, and then I ran Trials for the first time. Brandon got me in his group, and we did a little run. Brought 2 hours. We couldn't beat it, unfortunately, because ironically, a standard stamina-wielding bow caster trying to do bow kept dying. Why? They couldn't move. They were out of stamina and dead. So the whole party was dying over and over because someone was using stamina. I was on my Dragonite, and I did the whole cookie cutter, Bresto Destro stuff, and I was pulling, about 1,000 DPS. I kept up with everyone, which is pretty good considering I just crafted my gear. I didn't have any Trials gear or anything. As far as Trials in themselves, it was nice that they brought me along and everything, and I appreciated that, but it's just not my playstyle. It's just not my thing. It really isn't. It's just everyone stacks up and does impulse or whatever, then you zerg on to the next boss. The last boss did have some tricky mechanics, and we failed a couple times, which was, that felt like a more normal MMO feel. But when there's one boss and you just all literally stack on each other, spam ultimates, it was just a DPS race. And now that I saw that, it was like, I really don't want to do that. You might like that. Other people might like that. It just was, for me, this ain't fun. Now, Dragonstar Arena, from what little I did with that seems way more fun. It's so much more dynamic because mobs are coming, then there's a boss, then there's mobs, and it's just chaos. I like that. That's what I like out of PvP. It's chaos. And, you don't get to pick what someone else does to you. I like that feeling because it's, you can come together as a unit and do stuff. If you know exactly what's in front of you, well, eventually you're going to know how to handle it. So what I realized is, PvP is for me in this game. And so I went on doing that. I crafted some gear for my buddy Lord Obi. I think he's in the chat room. I hope he is. But yeah, we had fun doing some PvP with people who hadn't done it before, kind of explaining to them all sorts of different abilities that people really didn't know were valuable, like Camouflage Hunter and the Fighters Guild line, and just had a lot of fun with new people listening to podcasts and trying out different things. And we did some vet dungeons too. Got all those done on my Templar. I actually healed Fungal Grotto and completed it on full medium gear at VR3. So the Templar can be a nasty healer even if your setup sucks like mine did. So got that done. Went back on the Dragonite. My story of the week, since I ramble about what I do, a specific story, oh my god, so much fun. We took a keep, or my buddy, I come online, he's like, oh my god, you gotta get to Cyrodiil right now. I couldn't even understand. I'm like, what? Okay, slow down. Get to Cyrodiil right now. We're holding this keep against 20 blues, blah, blah, blah. Okay, alright, I'll do that. Get out there. It's me and Kaz and Grouchy, like the usual 3 people. And there's 20 people trying to siege this keep. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit back here like a dink and let them come get this keep. Let's go out there and beat the crap out of them. They're like, no, you got to hold back. No, we're not doing that. Let's go out. Meatball PvP time. And so what happened? We go out there. I'm like, how's our ultimates doing? We're charging up our ultimates. So we're just, heal springing, kind of holding their defenses, charging our ultimates. Got our ultimates up. All right, Grouchy, negate on me. Boom, negate, standard, rolled through 12 of them with 3 of us. I got it on video. That was so much damn fun. It was like, yes, finally, a small group tactics outwins against the Zergs. That's what PvP should be. Tactics, people on comms, regardless of your gear and setup, if you work together to accomplish a goal, it should feel damn good. Against all odds. So, I'm back on the PvP bandwagon. I think the problem about the PvP with me is I didn't know how to get around. I didn't know about the forward camps. I didn't know that you could just, kill yourself at a lumber mill to take a forward camp, clear across the map. So when I originally didn't like it because I couldn't get into battles right away, well, now I get it. There's ways around that I didn't really understand before. And so now I can hop on even if no one's on, and bang, we're in a fight in the middle of, my buddy comes on, boom, we can do it. So really the whole week I've just been kind of experimenting, trying to find out a perfect blend of armor for 1.4 drops on my DK. And I think it's probably going to be 5 medium, 2 light. And just block to win. So yeah, that's kind of what my week's been. I know it's kind of long-winded, but oh man, it was just so much fun. Met a lot of cool people, and we just had a blast.
Excellent. That was awesome story. I'm actually really glad to hear that. Especially like that reminded me of something we did in Guild Wars 2. It's called a portal bomb back before they fixed it, where you could actually just portal in on top of a Zerg and just drop, like, essentially negates and stuff, every AoE you had, and you could just kill off entire Zergs. It was fantastic.
Oh, and
loved it.
One more little story. So,
Okay.
So you know how I'd said that the PvP and PvE and whatever is so completely different? Well, I proved it to myself, and my friend was telling me, yeah, Dragon Standard's crap in PvP. I'm like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. He goes, dude, no one uses it. I'm like, why? He goes, Take Flight basically can, nuke someone and do 1,500 damage, and it's a really cheap ultimate. I'm like, okay, I'll try this. Oh my god. So what my friends do is I'll have one negate the guy, I'll have another one do the soul channel or the Jesus beam from the world skill, and then I'll do Dragonflight. Dead. You can't survive. Dead. Just explosion everywhere. And to see that happen, oh my god, the enemies are like, what just happened? This huge laser beam, I'm flying in the air, crunch, the health goes to 0 in an instant. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited about PvP again.
Nice. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Makes me want to play Dragon Knight for a little bit, but I still love my Templar. All right. Anything else you wanted to talk about for this week before Thais and I take over?
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, Hero ran some dungeons, Brandon did trials, Kaz, and Obi, we've been trying to do some PvP, so got a lot of good people in the guild. It's been fun. Oh, crap. One last thing. I know the Tales of Tamriel is in Ebonheart. We're hosting an event for people that want to learn about PvP, like the basics. And we're going to do it next Saturday, Aldermary Dominion, and we're meeting in the Grotwood at the Big Elden Tree. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me, myself, and some of my guildies are going to go in the Elder Scrolls Off the Record team speak and kind of just form up a group and just show people the basics. How to even get into campaigns, how to actually get on a horse and get your gear and buy siege weapons and do the first, bounty board and all that sort of thing. So even if you're on or not on that side, you want to come hang out and listen to it, you're more than welcome. I'll probably be live streaming it too. So yeah, just know that we're going to try to start getting some community events for people to get more involved in PvP, because now people are reaching endgame. They're getting kind of bored. PvP is the place to be if you just want really fast action. So next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Got it.
That might be the time when I have to show up and PvP against Deltia.
Oh
As
my
a Pink
god.
Ranger?
Hey, well, you know what? I'm going to be wearing big ass horns, so come at me. You'll see me. No nameplate needed. No nameplate needed.
He'll be there. Come at me, bro. Come on.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
Slash
I'll wear
flex.
my nice pink armor.
Nice. I think we'll have to do that. That'd be funny. All right. Well, all right. Thais, let's talk about our tales a little bit. Has anything changed on your character since last week?
Nope.
Okay. I like to annoy Thais. Right now I'm leveling up Sword and Shield. And that's fun. I like it. And a lot of spell abilities. I'm using like all the dots I can.
Wait a minute. Now I'm confused. On your Templar, you're leveling Sword and Shield?
Yes. I level
Why?
everything up. I want 50 on everything.
But,
so I
but
can
you
switch.
have no skill points in your... But your skill points are in crafting. Never mind. Go ahead. Continue.
No.
Go ahead.
Yes, the sword and shield. No skill points in it. I'm leveling it up.
Oh my god.
I'm just leveling it up.
So you're-
I want it to be 50 so I can switch.
He wanted a range, so he started leveling a bow. I think his bow is at 50 and he still doesn't have any points in it. And he's also leveling both the Resto and the Destro staff for no apparent reason.
Hey, when it comes to the point where I can then respec and I need to, hey, we're gonna do a trial, we're gonna do a Dragonstar Arena, we need a healer. All right, well I can just respec and I'll be a healer, and then I can respec. But if it's not 50, then I can't get all the traits
But if you already know what you want to play, why would you switch to a healer?
because I only really play one character and I do whatever I want to do to play the game.
He's
So if we
flexible.
need a healer, I will switch to a healer.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If we need a tank, I'll switch to a tank.
Okay.
But if you're not 50 in the skill lines, then it's not great.
Okay.
So I level them all. While I'm leveling, I level everything up so I can switch. Yeah.
I'll just sit over here and cringe. Keep talking.
Okay. So that's what I'm working on now. That's the only thing that really changed on my character. So now we only got a little bit of time to actually play this week because our internet died out on us, which sucked.
And it was my birthday.
And it was, well, yes, it was your birthday, which is awesome. So if anyone wants to send these presents, send her presents.
Send her hate
So
mail.
yeah, we didn't get a lot of time to play. So we really only got to do one quest in the game, and it was around Pariah Abbey. Now it was kind of neat because when we're messing around Pariah Abbey, first off, we have to put out fires, okay? And this is kind of like watching a. You ever been with somebody who watches like an action movie or something like that? And someone shoots a car and it like explodes. You're sitting there going, "There's no way a car would really explode that big." You know, so that's pretty much what I was doing during this quest because we were going to put out fires, but there's a really big fire. They're like, "Well, you have to go into a cave of dreams and you have to get this scroll of summoning." This guy was going to do is going to put out all the fires. So we try to rescue the guy, but he's stuck in a dream. The guy who owns or is, I guess, the head master of the Pariah Abbey. So we rescue him, and we come back and we read the scroll, and it summons a storm Atronach. And I'm sitting there going, wouldn't a frost Atronach be better for putting out fire? Because that thing does all lightning damage. And here it just summoned a thunderstorm that rained, but it's all lightning damage. I'm sitting there going, why wouldn't it just be like ice elemental? You just like freeze the entire area.
Because the fires would melt the ice atronach?
And then it's water, and then it puts it out anyway.
No, because it would have dried up. It would have evaporated by the time it reached the base of the fire.
No. Powerful magic, it could have just, like, ice beam frost, and that would have been it.
Because a rainstorm doesn't make any sense to put out fire?
No, because the storm Atronachs don't have rain.
How do you know that?
Because every time you...
storm atronach?
No, but you cast it all the time, and all it does is lightning damage. Lightning does not put out fires. In fact, it starts fires. So that's what we argued about for like 10 minutes going, that's not right.
Oh my
It's
God.
not right. So yeah, so we went there, and I kind of like how the lore is so, it's amazing. So they're drinking what they call dreamless potions so that they're immune to the nightmares of Vermina and the Supernal Dreamers. And the guys steal, what is it, Dream Shard, which is a literal piece of Moonshadow, which is, what's your favorite Daedric Prince?
I can't think of the name of it.
Why can't you think of the name of your favorite Daedric Prince?
I'm not sure. Because my mind went blank. You put me on the spot.
The star, the moon.
Azure?
Yeah, there you go. I knew you'd get it. It's a literal piece of her Daedric realm, and they were using it to brew these dreamless potions, and the Supernal Dreamers stole it so they could not actually continue brewing this potion. But one thing we had to do is we had to go into a nightmare and save the guy at the
The
abbey.
abbot.
Yeah, the abbot, who's an orc, by the way. So, yuck. But in order to do so, we had to. What did we have to drink?
The Dream Stride potion.
Dream Stride potion.
Which is dangerous, might I add.
It was awesome. It just reminded me of the quest in Skyrim that you had to drink the Topor and fall asleep, the Dream Stride.
All that makes me think of is the book about the Dream Stride, which it's super dangerous to drink this potion because when you wake up, you could be standing in the middle of the ocean, and then when you wake up, you fall in the ocean, and then you die.
It's like Inception. You die in a dream, you die for real. That's what happens.
Or like Family Guy, when you poop in your dreams, you poop for real.
All right, that went a little dirtier than I thought. The final part, which I thought was kind of creepy, is we did the Pariah Catacombs, which was a delve underneath it. And it was like really creepy of a delve because as you're going through it, you're finding all these notes about this terrible like spirit that's haunting the place. And the guy's like, I'm never going to make it out of here. It's like really creepy. And at the very end, there is a flesh-eating skeleton crawling around. And what's really neat is he kind of crawls around on the floor like Gollum does in Lord of the Rings where he's kind of hunched over crawling. It's really creepy. You sit there, like I'm sitting there watching him. And you can hear him munching on the bodies.
The last note you read is, I found him. I know what his name is. And one way or another, I will fight him, even if that means he has to feast on my flesh. It was pretty
It was dark.
Gross.
It was really dark. I really liked it. But it was just the aura of the place was fantastic. The ambiance, it was creepy dungeon. Ambiance in there was fantastic.
10-point word.
Seeing him crawling around, munching on the bodies. He's walking back and forth to all these different bodies. Oh, it was great. I loved it. Otherwise, I think that was all we really did this week. Albeit, on a different note, I have officially passed the point where I'm at least 7 traits and everything on all my crafting skills for crafting. And I'm researching the 8 trait now. So I think I have 14 more things to do total between blacksmithing and clothing until I have all 8 traits done. So now every one that I do will be an 8th trait. So I'm getting near to finishing all the traits in crafting just in time for them to add a 9th trait.
I'm close. I'm a little bit further behind you, but I'm close.
Yeah. So that's really about that. So I can at least do 7 traits on every piece of armor, whether it be our weapons, no matter what. And I can do 8 traits in anything woodworking. But
I might have to sit down with you and work on blacksmithing weapons, because I think those are my worst.
okay. Easy. All right. Well, that ends our Tales section for this week. We're going to move on to the dramatic reading. And this week, as always, we're continuing our series of Divines and Deities with the next book in the series, which is the Lunar Lorcan. So, Thais, take it away.
I will not go into the varying accounts of what happened at the Adamantine Tower, nor will I relate the war of manifest metaphors that rendered those stories unable to support most qualities of what is commonly known as narrative. We all have our favorite Lorcan story, and our favorite Lorcan motivation for the creation of Nirn, and our favorite story of what happened to his heart. But the theory of the Lunar Lorcan is of special note. In short, the moons were and are the 2 halves of Lorcan's flesh divinity. Like the rest of the gods, Lorcan was a planet that participated in the Great Construction, except for the 8 lent portions of their heavenly bodies to create the mortal plane. Lorcan's was cracked asunder, and his divine spark fell to Nirn as a shooting star, to impregnate it with the measure of its existence and a reasonable amount of selfishness. Master and Secunda, therefore, are the personifications of the dichotomy, the cloven duality, according to Artaeum, that Lorcan legends often rail against, ideas of the anima/animus, good/evil, being/nothingness, the poetry of the body, throat, and moan/silence as the, abortive, and so on, set in the night sky as Lorcan's constant reminder to his mortal issue of their duty. Followers of this theory hold that all other heart stories are mythical degradations of the true origin of the moons, and it needn't be said that they observe the hollow crescent theory as well.
Excellent. That was a kind of a short book, but I guess next week We're actually going to be wrapping up this series of books, Divines and Deities, with the final one, which is Vivek and Minfala. And then we'll have to pick another series.
Ooh.
So we're finally starting to finish up this series of books. So next week, join in and see the end.
I think I know what our next series should be.
What?
Argonians.
I don't think there's an Argonian set.
Well, can we make one?
If you can find it in, that's your task for next week, is to look on your book section in ESO and you find yourself a set that you want to read.
Okay.
And a full set.
Can I just collect a whole bunch of Argonian books?
No. No one wants to hear about Argonians. We will lose subscribers just because you like Argonians.
It's not fair.
All right. We're going to move on to our next section, the Guild Corner. Deltia, as always, you have anything you want to plug real quick?
Oh, it was just that event next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Aldemary Dominion. A few hours, we're going to go do a bunch of, experiments on PvP. So don't be afraid. We'll roll in a group, and everyone dies. It's okay.
How about you give the dates of your event so that it can be crystal clear to everybody?
Sure. It's the 20th of September.
Awesome.
Okay, 20th of September, so it's this coming Saturday. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, and also if anyone's interested in joining the Friends and Family Guild of Tales of Tamriel podcast, you can contact either Aggelos or Tier Eater in-game for an invite. It's just a place where fans of the show can meet and mingle with the host of the podcast. And as a special note, I think we're starting to hit where we're a lot of members who have not logged in over a period of time. I'm going to start removing members that have not logged on in at least 6 months, because we're nearing that point, the age of the game. So if you haven't logged on in 6 months, you're probably going to be removed so we can keep a cleaner roster. That being said, if you decide to come back, you can just message us again and we'll get you back in. But I want to keep a clean roster because, of course, we're nearing that 6-month mark. The game's getting up there. And people who joined and then stopped playing the game pretty much right away, we're going to start clearing those out. So just wanted to make sure people knew that. So if they do come back and they realize, hey, I'm not in any guilds anymore, they'll know why. All right, moving on to the next section, which is our emails. We had 2 emails this week. And first off, you want to read that?
Sure.
All right.
This email is from TS Fangirl. I haven't been able to spend much time in Tamriel for the last couple of weeks due to being out of town, but I do have a tale to share. This past weekend, August 28th to September 1st, I attended a huge science fiction and fantasy convention in Atlanta, Georgia called DragonCon. Although there were no Elder Scrolls or ESO panels scheduled for the video gaming programming track, there were 2 Elder Scrolls costuming meets on Friday and Saturday. I attended both of them and got to meet many skilled costumers and see some impressive costumes up close, including Punished Props, epic Draugr Deathlords costumes, and the fantastic work of the 105th Squad, the team responsible for the amazing Alduin costume. Everyone was so friendly and happy to talk about their costumes, although the brutal Atlanta heat was punishing for everyone both days. You could tell immediately that so much love and passion for the games had been poured into every costume. The turnout for each meet was amazing as well. I've never seen so many Elder Scrolls costumers in one place before. My head count for each gathering was 22 customers for Friday and 29 for the Saturday gathering. That is a lot of Elder Scrolls love. I haven't had the chance to upload all of the photos from the event on my Twitter yet, but over the next week I will continue to post them along with links back to the customers and their other work. If anyone's curious to see them, they will be able to be found on my Twitter account at TESFangirl. It's TESFANGIRRL.
I actually did get to see a couple of them while she was at DragonCon. They do look pretty sweet. I did see the Alduin one. It was like a full-size Alduin. It was huge.
Isn't he a dragon?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
It was. It was really cool. There were a lot of really nice ones in there. Okay. And next up, we have one more email.
Okay. This is from Thomas. Hi, Tales of Tamriel crew. It's Thomas from Austria again. I want to tell you a story about an unlucky thing that happened to me and how awesome the Zenimax support was with solving the issue. On Tuesday this week, I bought a 60-day time card for ESO. When I came home, I started to scratch the silver field to get the code. Unfortunately, some of the paper below the silver bar was also scratched up, so the code was unreadable. My anger was fierce, but as soon as I cooled down, I wrote a polite ticket to ESO. On Wednesday, I received an email from the Zenimax support. They needed a picture of the code and the bill of the store from where I bought it. Of course, I sent them the pictures. Later that afternoon, I got a call from Zenimax support. A very young man told me that they received the pictures and they would work as hard as they could to solve my problem. Long story short, on Thursday, I received an email from Zenimax support with the time card code. They successfully rebuilt the code so I could add the 60 days of game time to my account. I was happy because at first I thought the money would be thrown into the dust. I still listen to your podcast at work. I reached the 32nd episode this week, so I can't wait for Monday for the new episode. Faye's story time is now one of my favorite parts of the show. She totally improved her pronunciation, and this helps me to improve mine. Of course, I totally love the tales of the week. Can't wait till you reach Aldmari Dominion. Gross. Me, my one and only character is a Bosmer Nightblade. During my playthrough of the Aldmari Dominion, I became very happy and sad. The story is really rough. Sometimes I had tears in my eyes, especially when you have to choose which one of your new friends you have to sacrifice. What really made me depressed was the racism of the Altmer. I often had this sort of feelings for a book or a really good film. The story in the game is really awesome and deeply touching. Now I have to apologize for my long mail. As always, best wishes from Austria.
Excellent. I think we read Promise's email last week as well.
That was a great email.
Yeah, he caught up quite because I think he was only like on 18 or something like that the last week, so he pretty much listened to us straight for like 20 episodes. But yeah, it was a really nice story of the support team and how they, really rebuilt the entire code, because that was essentially $30 of game time that he did actually attach the picture in the email, and you could see how when he scratched it off, the whole bottom of the one card was like completely destroyed. So you really couldn't make out the last couple digits. So it was really neat that they were able to rebuild the code for him and still get him the...
They might have essentially just given him another code.
Oh, no, they from the email they sent in the actual... They sent back, because all the digits that were correct were there. They just found the last couple that were missing.
Oh.
Because I guess they do keep track of the codes they send out and where they're sent to. So they got the receipt from the store. They're able to track it down. And, I mean, it's a pretty simple fix, because the odds of having the first, what are they, like 16-digit codes? If you have the first, 8, 9, 10 characters, the amount that you have from the store is probably pretty small. But it's neat that they actually went ahead and figured it out. I've seen similar companies just say, take it back to the store. Say it doesn't, they didn't work on it. These guys actually really worked on it and said, no, we're going to help you figure it out. And they figured it out for them. That was really, really cool. And of course, the story in the game is amazing. So, yeah. So I guess now it's time for our final thoughts of the show.
Already? So soon.
So soon. I know. It's sad. I'm very sad at this. But with that being said, since it's always ladies first, what are your final thoughts for the show?
As always, it was a great show. I am extremely excited for starting a new collection of books. I am. And I can't wait to see what we decide on. I'm really hoping I can kind of talk it into Ag to do something with Argonians. I would love to be able to just have a whole section of books devoted to Argonians.
I don't think there is even a whole section of books.
Hey, if I put my mind to it, I'm sure I could find 6 Argonian books.
Okay. All right, we'll deal with that then when we cross that bridge.
All right, sounds good.
All right, and Deltia, good sir, what are your final thoughts for the show? And, of course, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, deltiasgaming.com or at deltiasgaming. A good show, not a lot of news, and Thais and I argued like usual, so, everything's good. But, yeah, I would say lesson learned, because I always insert my foot squarely in my mouth. try things out again if at first you don't like them. For me, PvP was the thing I wasn't really too thrilled about, even though that's basically what I do in every game. So give things a chance that maybe, you cooled off on it for a while, whether that's veteran dungeons or leveling or something, because, you just may need someone to tell you what really is going on. And that's kind of what the case was for me. So give it a second shot, and if you're not playing the game, you're crazy, because this game's awesome.
I agree with Deltia. Definitely this game is awesome. Just judging from even what little bit of news we have, we got a couple teasers, which is really exciting. I have a Khajiit jumping on my desk, even though I throw her off all the time. It is an amazing game. So much to do. I just love it. Like, every bit about it. When you make a character, you can make a character that really does feel like it's yours, not you're one of 9,000 Dragon Knights. You are fairly unique. Unless you do the Elder Staves Online kind of thing. That being said, I'm excited to see the future. Next week, we should be seeing Update 4 on the live server. So those of you who did not jump on the PTS will get a chance to experience some of the awesome stuff we saw on the PTS. And that pretty much means that, as I said, next week will probably be another slow show because they always have that 1 week of nothing. And the show afterwards, we should start seeing some news for Update 5, perhaps a trailer. I'm excited. All right. I do want to thank both my co-hosts for joining me this evening. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. If you wish to help support the podcast, feel free to donate via the PayPal link on the website. If you wish to contact us with questions, comments, criticisms, the website for the show is talesoftamriel.com. Or you can email the show at podcast@talesoftamriel.com. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tales of Tamriel, on Facebook at facebook.com/talesoftamriel podcast. Also, feel free to rate and subscribe to us via iTunes and on our YouTube page at youtube.com/talesoftamriel. That helps us out so much. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a great night, everybody.